Hello, greetings. What's up? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Hello, my name is Tiffany, and I'm coming through right here live in effect. So today I'm going to be dealing with topics on African American history, and the two that I want to talk about is Louise Lulu Fleming and Cicely Tyson. All right. So as you all know that Miss Cicely Tyson has passed away, made her transition to be with the ancestors yesterday at the age of 96 years old. She was a long-time veteran in the movie industry. Um, she had her mark in Hollywood and she was well respected. So today she's going to be honored and I'm going to do the topic about her. But let's go ahead and get started with Louise Lulu Fleming. And who was she? All right, so Louise Cecilia Fleming. Louise Cecilia Fleming was a medical doctor and one of the first graduate from the Women's Medical College of Pennsylvania. She returned from Africa to improve her skill, and she was the first African American woman to be commissioned for work in Africa by the Women's American Baptist Foreign Missionary Society. All right, she was born on January 28th of 1862 to slave parents on Colonel Louis Michaels Fleming's Urbanina plantation in Urbanina, Clay County, Florida in 1862. She converted to Christianity at age 15 at the Bethel Baptist Institutional Church in Jacksonville. She was encouraged to attend and graduate from Shaw University, which happened to be a HBCU, by the way, in 1885. All right. Fleming obtained a basic education and became a public school teacher in St. Augustine, Florida. All right. It says in 1886, the Women's Baptist Foreign Mission Society of the West invited Fleming to become their missionary representative to the Congo. She accepted the invitation and arrived in the Congo in 1887, stationed at Palabala, if I'm saying it right. She worked in the Congo with girls teaching Sunday school primary classes and English classes. Fleming returned to the United States in 1891 in order to regain her health. The same year, with the idea of alleviating illness in the Congo, she enrolled in the Women's Medical College in Philadelphia. She graduated in 1895. Fleming returned to her mission in the Congo, becoming the only African-American woman doctor in the country. In 1898, Fleming contracted the African trypanosomiasis and returned to the United States. Fleming died on June 20th of 1899 at the Samaritan Hospital in Philadelphia at the age of 37. All right, so she happened to be very young when she passed away, but she happened to be one of the first African-American woman to actually go to Africa, to the Congo area, and not only teach Sunday school, but do all kind of like medical research, etc. So let me post some more information about Miss Fleming. Ooh. All right. So let's see what else we can find here. All right. So right here it says Fleming arrived at Palabala, Lower Congo in 1887 and wrote of her amazement at the grandeur of the mountains and the lushness of the Congo Valley. Fleming worked as a matron and teacher at the station school. She savored weekend opportunities to visit area villages and assist with evangelism services. On a Sunday tour to a nearby town, Fleming reported that the king had been pleased by the singing of the school girls and had engaged the missionaries in conversation. Through a translator, Fleming told the king that she was part of his family, my grandfather and his being of the same country. Reacting with disbelief to Fleming's overture, the king cried, "No, she is a white black woman." Fleming spoke Kikongo to her school girls and at preaching services without a translator. Fleming emphasized the need for women missionaries to visit homes. She rejoiced in 1890 when Nora Gordon, a new graduate of Spelman College in Georgia, joined her in Palabala. Gordon's teaching allowed Fleming to spend half of her day on home visit. Interest in Fleming's work ran high with contribution in support of her work coming from local women groups in Raleigh, North Carolina, Plymouth, Massachusetts, and Chatham and New Brunswick, Canada. Illness forced a return home in 1891, where Fleming recovered her strength and pursued medical training, graduated from Women's Medical College in Philadelphia in 1893, making her the first black missionary among Baptists. All right, so and it says for her second term in the Congo, Fleming was assigned to Irubu or Irubian Interior Station further up the Congo River. There she immediately began her medical work. Coping as best as she could with a new language, missionary illness, and native wars, during which several school children were kidnapped, she still kept her focus on healing the sick and preaching the word. In addition to her evangelistic and medical work, she played the organ at daily chapel service and for 3 Sundays service. Except on Sunday, she provided clinic and dispensary service each morning, and most afternoons she visited a nearby town to provide medical care and evangelistic service. In her last year of service at Irubu, Fleming treated 5,475 patients in her dispensary and made out calls to 308 individuals, some requiring multiple visits. Of all these patients, she noted proudly only 6 died. In the late 1998, she married a British missionary, yet her ties with U.S. churches remained, and when she became very ill, she returned to Philadelphia. Though only 37 years old at her death, Fleming had been successful in winning the hearts of the Congo people, putting herself in close touch and sympathy with them. Fleming's contribution was to inspire other young women to mission service. Her legacy also endured in the Congo, where she was remembered and honored in the 21st century. And this comes from the American Baptist Historical Society. All right. So that's the information about Miss Louise Lulu Fleming. All right. So I'm going to go into the story about the late Cicely Tyson. All right. So I'm going to look into her biography. All right. So here's the introduction to Cicely Tyson. So she was born December 1924, and she died January 28, 2021. She was an American actress and a fashion model. Now, let me post up the picture. This is Miss Cicely Tyson, later down the years. In a career spanning more than 7 decades, she became known for her portrayal of strong African-American women. Tyson was the recipient of 3 Primetime Emmy Awards, 4 Black Reel Awards, won Screen Actors Guild Awards, won Tony Award, and an honorary Academy Award and a Peabody Award. Having appeared in minor film and television roles early in her career, Tyson garnered widespread attention and critical acclaim for her performance as Rebecca Morgan in Sounder, which came out in 1972. She was nominated for both the Academy Award and Golden Globe Award for Best Actress for her work in the film. Tyson's portrayal of the title role in the 1974 television film The Autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman won her further praise. Among other accolades, the role won her 2 Emmy Awards and a nomination for a BAFTA Awards for Best Actress in a Leading Role. Okay. So Tyson continued to act in film and on television in the 21st century. In 2011, she played the role of Constantine Jefferson in the award-winning film The Help. She also played the role of Ophelia Harkness in the American Broadcasting Company legal drama How to Get Away with Murder since the show's inception in 2014, for which she was nominated for the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Guest Actress in a Drama Series 5 times. In addition to her screen career, Tyson appeared in various theater productions. She received a Drama Desk Award in 1962 for her off-Broadway performance in Moon on a Rainbow Shawl. Tyson also starred as Carrie Watts in the Broadway play The Trip to Bountiful, winning the Tony Award, the Outer Critic Award, and the Drama Desk Award for Best Actress in a Play in 2013. Tyson was named a Kennedy Center honoree in 2015. In November of 2016, Tyson received the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is the highest civilian honor in the United States. In 2020, she was inducted into the Television Hall of Fame. Okay, so now check this out. All right, she was born in Harlem, New York. She's the daughter of Frederica Huggins Tyson, a domestic worker, and William Augustine Tyson, who worked as a carpenter, painter, and at any other jobs he could find. She was one of 3 children. Her parents were immigrants from Nevis in the West Indies. Okay, so her parents came from the Caribbean. Her father arrived in New York at the age of 21 and was processed at Ellis Island on August 4th, 1919. All right, so here's her earliest career. So she was discovered by a photographer for Ebony magazine and became a successful fashion model. Her first acting role was on the NBC television series Frontiers of Faith in 1951. Tyson played her first film role in Carib Gold in 1956. She became the first African American to star in a television drama when she starred in the series East Side / West Side. And she also had a role in the soap opera The Guiding Light. Okay, so in the early 1960s, Tyson appeared in the original cast of French playwright Jean Genet de Blas. She played the role of Stephanie Virtue Secret Rose Diop. Other notable cast members included Maya Angelou, James Earl Jones, Godfrey Cambridge, Louis Gossett Jr., and Charles Gardon. The show was the longest running off-Broadway non-musical of the decade, running for 1,408 performances. On March 25th, 1963, Tyson appeared on the game show To Tell the Truth as a decor contestant for Shirley Abicar. She appeared with Sammy Davis Jr. in the film A Man Called Adam in 1966 and starred in the film version of The Comedians based on the Graham Greene novel. In 1968, Tyson had a feature role in The Heart is a Lonely Hunter. All right, so Let's look at let's skip down. All right, in 1974, she played the title role in the television film, The Autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman. Tyson portrayal of a centenary black woman's life from slavery until her death before the civil rights movement won her a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress, miniseries, or a movie, and an Emmy for Actress of the Year. Special Tyson was also nominated for the BATFA Award for Best Actress in a Leading Role for her work in this television film. Now, what is the autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman? So, the story of Miss Jane Pittman, all right, which was a television film based on a novel of the same name by Ernest J. Gaines. The film was broadcast on CBS. The film was directed by John Corey. The screenplay was written by Tracy Kennan Wynn. All right. So the synopsis go, time is the early 1960s civil rights movement. Jane, a former slave, is celebrating her 110th birthday. Two men tell her that a little girl is going to a segregated water fountain. She gets arrested because she's black. The next day, Jane is interviewed by a journalist and she tells the story of her life. The climax of the story shows Jane going to the water fountain to desegregate it. Her lifespan has bridged the time of slavery and the civil rights movement. All right. So that's her again. This is her playing in the movie. All right. So here's another one right here. Going further down. Okay, go further down. Later career in 1989. Also, she played in The Roots, by the way. In 1989, Tyson appeared in the television miniseries The Women of Brewster Place. In 1991, Tyson appeared in Fried Green Tomatoes as Cicely. In 1994 and 1995 television series Sweet Justice, Tyson portrayed a civil rights activist and attorney named Carrie Grace Battle, a character she shaped by reportedly consulting with noted Washington, D.C. civil rights and criminal defense lawyer Dovie Johnson Roundtree. Her other notable film roles include the drama Hoodlum and A Diary of a Mad Black Woman, and the television film Oldest Living Confederate Widow Tells All, for which she received her third Emmy Award in A Lesson Before Dying. In 2005, Tyson co-starred in Because of Winn-Dixie. All right. And then go further down, it says in 2013, Tyson played a supporting role in the horror film The Haunting in Connecticut 2, Ghosts of Georgia. And beginning in 2014, Tyson guest starred on How to Get Away with Murder. And she was also popular in the movie called A Fall from Grace. And she just wrote a memoir, Just As I Am, was published on January 26th. That was 2 days before her death. All right. So down here, it says that she has received her honorary degree from Clark Atlanta University, Columbia University, Howard University, and Morehouse College, an all-male historically black college. She was inducted to Black Filmmakers Hall of Fame in 1977. In 1980, she received a Golden Plate Award of American Academy of Achievement. In 1982, was awarded the Women in Film Crystal Award. All right. In 1980, she received a Candace Award for Distinguished Service from the National Coalition of 100 Black Women. In 1997, she received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. All right. Right, so here's her personal life. So Tyson had a daughter when she was 17 years old. At age 18, Tyson married Kenneth Franklin on December 27, 1942. According to her divorce decree, her husband abandoned her after less than 18 months of marriage. The marriage was formally dissolved in 1956. Tyson first dated jazz trumpeter Miles Davis in 1960s when he was in the process of divorcing dancer Frances Davis. Davis used a photo of Tyson for his 1967 album, Sorcerer. Davis told the press in 1967 that he intended to marry Tyson in March of 1968 after his divorce was finalized, but he married singer Betty Davis that September. Tyson's and Davis rekindled their relationship in 1978. They were married on November 26, 1981 in a ceremony conducted by Atlanta Mayor Andrew Young at the home of actor Bill Cosby. Their marriage was tumultuous due to Davis' volatile temper and infidelity. Davis credited Tyson with saving his life and helping him overcome his cocaine addiction. They reside in Malibu, California, and New York City until she filed for divorce in 1988. Their divorce was finalized in 1989, 2 years later, before Davis died in 1991. Now, she was the godmother of singer Lenny Kravitz, had been friends with his mother as well as to Denzel Washington's daughter, Katia, and actor, director, producer, and writer Tyler Perry's son, Ammon. All right. Tyson was an honorary member of the Delta Sigma Theta sorority. She was a vegetarian. Okay. So there was a movie that she used to play in Mama Floyd's Family. Let's look up Mama Floyd's Family. I want to look that up real quick. Mama Floyd's Family. Yep. Cicely Tyson played in this movie a long time ago. All right, so let's talk about Mama Flora's Family. So Mama Flora's Family is a 1997 historical fiction novel by Alice Haley and David Stevens. The story spans from the 1920s to the 1970s as it follows Flora, a daughter of poor Black Mississippi sharecroppers, and her descendants. Haley died before completing the novel, with Stevens finishing the storyline. In 1998, the book was adapted into a made-for-TV miniseries of the same name. All right, so the synopsis is the young Flora meets the wealthy Lincoln Fleming at a dance one night. Lincoln wants her to come care for his elderly grandmother and Nana at his home, to which she agrees. And eventually, Flora becomes sexually involved with Lincoln and believes the two of them to be romantically involved. After experiencing him shun and shame her in front of his rich contemporaries, Flora begins to feel used and refuse to sleep with him anymore. This prompts her to become evicted from the house. Flora later discovered that she is pregnant with Lincoln's child, which prompts his wealthy family to bribe her into leaving Mississippi to avoid scandals. Flora takes the offer, planning to go to Memphis, Tennessee. She gives birth to a boy and name him Luke, but it is forced to give the baby to the Flemings to raise. Flores then travels by train to the city, but is instead directed by a fellow passenger to go to the small station of Stockton under the advice that a young woman such as her should not go into the city alone. Once there, she gained employment and shelter through the Reverend Jackson. All right, so yeah, this was a good one right here. It was a mini series. Mm-hmm. So let's look at the autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman. Okay, realistic fiction novel. So they said Miss Jane Pittman was an actual person, but there are some people who think that it was very it wasn't realistic, it wasn't based on a true story, but who knows? All right. So motives, slavery again. The novel, which begins with a protagonist in slavery being freed and leaving the plantation only to return to another plantation as a sharecropper, stresses the similarity between the condition of African Americans in slavery and African Americans in the sharecropping plantation. The novel shows how. All right. Yeah, the novel shows how formerly enslaved people lived after freedom. It shows how the patrollers and other vigilant groups, through violence and terror, curtailed the physical and educational mobility of African Americans in the South. Access to school and political participation was to shut down by plantation owners. Between physical limitation, not having money, and having to deal with abolition oblivious and hostile figures, Jane and Ned's travel don't take them very far. Physically, they do not leave Louisiana nor in lifestyle. At the end of the chapter, a flicker of light and again darkness. Miss Jane remarks of Colonel Dye's plantation. It was slavery again, all right. In the depiction of Miss Jane's telling of the story, Jim, the child of sharecroppers, parallel, is, if not resoundingly, echoes the earlier story of Ned, the child born on a slave plantation. Through these stories, the novel further highlights the condition of Louisiana sharecropping in relation to the condition of slavery. All right, so that's all for today. That's a story about Louise Fleming and Cicely Tyson. All right, so these two women, very phenomenal, very powerful, strong Black women, we all can learn from. Again, my condolences go to Cicely Tyson and her family. She has lived a long life. She's been around. She's been through it all. And she has set the platform and opened up the doors of opportunity for other African Americans, especially African American women who are coming up in their acting career. She really has. And we appreciate her for that. You know, as a black woman, I appreciate for what the work that she has done. And I also appreciate Louise Fleming for the work that she has contributed as well. So until next time, I will connect with you guys. Please be safe. Take it easy. Thank you for watching. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, make sure you do so and hit the notification bell and share the channel. And until then, peace. All right.